Walk past the gun counters of modern America, and you will witness a dangerous complacency. Shelves are stacked high with standard pressure 9mm ball ammunition, and millions of well-intentioned citizens are resting easy, convinced they are adequately prepared for the realities of self-preservation. They are not. If you study the terminal ballistics from recent global conflicts, or analyze the data compiled by law enforcement professionals operating heavy urban environments, a sobering truth emerges. The 9mm, while highly efficient in sterile conditions, suffers profound failures when introduced to intermediate barriers. When a threat is positioned behind the reinforced steel of a car door, tempered auto glass, or thick layers of winter canvas, a standard 9mm projectile will often deform prematurely, bleed off its kinetic energy, or deflect entirely. This is not a matter of opinion. It is a rigid law of physics. To solve this mechanical deficit, seasoned shooters, private military contractors, and veterans are returning to a cartridge born from the tragic lessons of the 1986 Miami shootout. They are migrating back to the 10mm auto, pushing a heavy 180-grain projectile at over 1,200 feet per second. This cartridge delivers well over 600 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, but harnessing that violent chamber pressure, often exceeding 37,000 pounds per square inch, requires absolute metallurgical integrity. Today we are analyzing the defensive tools that not only survive this pressure, but master it. Welcome back to Gun Sage. If you value historical heritage, uncompromising reliability, and mechanical precision, settle in. We are looking at the defensive firearms that command absolute authority. To understand how modern engineering tackles the violent recoil of the 10mm, we must first examine the platform that proved Polymer could withstand the abuse. The Glock 20, specifically the Generation 5 MOS, is not a refined target pistol. It is an industrial tool, forged in the fires of pure, uncompromising utility. The genius of the Glock 20 does not lie in its beauty, but in its unique approach to energy displacement. When you ignite a 10mm cartridge, the rearward thrust is staggering. If a frame is entirely rigid, that shock is transferred directly into the steel locking block, accelerating metal fatigue. Glock's proprietary polymer formulation is specifically engineered to flex on a microscopic level. This subtle elasticity acts as a secondary recoil dampener, bleeding off the violent kinetic energy before it punishes the shooter's hands or cracks the frame. The Generation 5 iteration brings a heavier slide mass to the equation, slowing down the unlocking phase of the short recoil system to keep breech pressures safe. It utilizes a 4.6-inch barrel featuring cold hammer forged polygonal rifling. Instead of traditional sharp lands and grooves, this polygonal profile creates a superior gas seal around the base of the projectile, maximizing your muzzle velocity and significantly reducing the buildup of copper and lead fouling. Weighing in at a highly efficient 30.6 ounces unloaded, it remains balanced even with a full magazine. Its reliability is so time-tested that the Danish Sirius Dog Sled Patrol adopted it for use in the sub-zero wastelands of Greenland, trusting it to stop apex predators in environments that freeze lesser action solid. It is the baseline of modern 10mm reliability, a defensive tool you can trust when the supply chains fail. While the Glock represents the established baseline, the FN 510 Tactical represents the modern evolution of overwhelming, sustained firepower. When you evaluate a combat environment, capacity and operational duration become critical metrics. FN engineers approach the 10mm problem with a distinct military pedigree, aiming to maximize onboard ammunition without compromising the structural integrity of the magazine. The resulting double-stack magazine holds an unprecedented 22 rounds of heavy 10mm ammunition. Lifting 22 heavy, flat-nosed projectiles requires intense, constant spring tension. To prevent the steel feed lips from warping under this continuous upward pressure, FN utilizes specialized heat-treated steel, ensuring surgical precision during the feeding cycle, even when the magazine is left fully loaded for extended periods. The 510 Tactical incorporates a 4.7-inch cold hammer, forged threaded barrel with a 1 in 10-inch twist rate, mathematically optimized to stabilize everything from light monolithic copper defense rounds to 220-grain hard-cast lead. Furthermore, this platform is engineered from the ground up as a suppressor host. The dual captive recoil spring system is specifically tuned to handle the increased back pressure generated by modern silencers, preventing the slide velocity from outrunning the magazine springs. At 32 ounces, it provides enough mass to tame the snap, delivering a 2-minute of angle accuracy standard under rapid-fire conditions. It is a formidable piece of hardware designed for the modern tactician who refuses to compromise on payload. Stepping away from traditional polymer frames, we must examine the modular revolution spearheaded by the Sig P320-XTEN. The grip module of the XTEN feels radically different from older, blockier, high-capacity platforms. It is contoured to honor human biomechanics, allowing the shooter to drive the web of their hand deep into the beaver tail, aligning the bore axis naturally with the radius bone of the forearm. But the true mechanical masterpiece lies inside. The serialized component of this weapon is the stainless steel fire control unit. This contained chassis houses the precise, crisp trigger linkages and sear geometry, completely isolated from the polymer grip shell. To adapt this 9mm bore chassis to the 10mm magnum length cartridge, Sauer did not just extend the magazine well. They completely recalculated the slide mass and spring weights. By deliberately delaying the unlocking phase of the Browning-style tilt barrel action by just a fraction of a millimeter, the intense chamber pressures are allowed to drop down to safe, manageable levels before the steel extractor claw yanks the spent casing from the chamber. This precise timing drastically increases the longevity of your small parts and eliminates the catastrophic extraction failures seen in poorly timed conversions. Sporting a 5-inch carbon steel barrel, it effortlessly pushes 200-grain defensive loads past the 1,000 feet per second threshold. Weighing 33 ounces empty, the XTEN represents the cutting edge of modular metallurgy, offering the seasoned operator the ability to customize their grip geometry while retaining military-grade reliability. Continuing our study of structural integrity, the Smith & Wesson M&B 2.0 in 10mm takes a hybrid approach to the polymer problem. Early polymer handguns chambered in heavy calibers often suffered from a phenomenon known as dust cover droop, where the aggressive torque of the slide cycling would literally warp the front of the plastic frame. Smith & Wesson solved this by embedding an extended, rigid stainless steel chassis deep within the polymer mold. This internal skeleton acts as a foundational spine, completely eliminating torque-induced flex and ensuring the slide rails remain perfectly parallel under the most violent recoil impulses. The tactical sensation of this weapon is one of pure, raw utility, enhanced by an aggressively textured grip that locks into the hand even in wet or bloody conditions. At 29.3 ounces, it is light enough for extended carry, but retains enough mass to mitigate muzzle flip. The 4.6-inch barrel, coupled with a heavily reinforced locking block, safely contains the staggering 37,500 pounds per square inch of peak chamber pressure. The M&P lineage has proven its authority in the holsters of law enforcement officers nationwide, and its sear geometry provides a remarkably clean break for a striker-fired system, easily allowing for 2.5 a minute of angle groups at 25 yards. It is a time-tested, mud-resistant platform built for longevity. But what if your tactical requirements extend beyond the effective range of a traditional sidearm? In a scenario involving heavily fortified intermediate barriers, the CMMG's Banshee in 10mm redefines the close quarters calculus. This large format pistol, or short-barreled rifle, leverages the 10mm cartridge into an entirely new ballistic envelope. An 8-inch medium taper barrel capitalizes on the slow-burning powders typical of 10mm loads, boosting muzzle velocities well beyond 1,400 feet per second. At these velocities, a hollow point projectile generates devastating, rifle-like hydrostatic shock upon impact. However, the true brilliance of the Banshee is its patented Radial delayed blowback operating system. Older pistol caliber carbines rely on primitive, straight blowback mechanisms, requiring a massive, heavy bolt and a punishingly stiff recoil spring to keep the breech closed during detonation. That primitive mass creates a jarring, choppy recoil impulse. CMMG engineered a bolt carrier group featuring chamfered locking lugs that physically interface with the barrel extension. Upon detonation, the violent rearward thrust of the casing is forced to mechanically rotate and unlock the bolt before it can travel backward. This mechanical delay absorbs the pressure spike, allowing for a significantly lighter bolt carrier group. The result is a profoundly smooth recoil impulse, keeping your optic dead on target for surgical follow-up shots. Weighing just 5 pounds and 9 ounces, the Banshee offers the maneuverability of a submachine gun with the barrier-blind terminal performance required to dominate an urban breakdown. We must, of course, acknowledge that semi-automatic platforms, no matter how refined, rely on the kinetic energy of the cartridge to cycle the action. For the mechanical purist who demands an absolute, uncompromising failsafe, the Smith & Wesson Model 610 frame revolver stands alone. Holding this massive piece of ordnance-grade steel is an exercise in historical reverence. It is devoid of stamped sheet metal or fragile linkages. Because a revolver does not bleed off gas or kinetic energy to compress a recoil spring and cycle a slide, the Model 610 extracts the absolute maximum velocity from every cartridge. Fired through its 6.5-inch stainless steel barrel, standard hunting loads hit their absolute peak terminal velocity. The mechanics are elegantly robust. It utilizes a massive fluted steel cylinder locked securely into a thick forged frame. To extract the rimless 10mm casings, the 610 employs full moon clips, stamped steel rings that hold 6 cartridges together. This not only allows for rapid unified extraction, but also permits the completely interchangeable use of 40 Smith & Wesson ammunition, offering profound logistical flexibility during supply shortages. Tipping the scales at a hefty 42.6 ounces, it absorbs recoil through sheer, unapologetic mass. If a primer fails to detonate in a survival situation, there is no malfunction drill to run. You simply pull the heavy double action trigger again, rotating a fresh chamber into alignment. It is the ultimate mechanical insurance policy, capable of a staggering 1 minute of angle accuracy at 50 yards in the hands of a disciplined marksman. Yet for all the innovations in polymer and modularity, the absolute pinnacle of 10mm defensive handguns belongs to a design that is over a century old. When you demand the ultimate synthesis of traditional metallurgy, surgical precision, and historical heritage, you arrive at the Springfield Armory TRP Operator in 10mm. This is not a disposable plastic appliance. It is a mechanical masterpiece. Gripping the forged carbon steel frame feels like holding a vault door. It radiates an uncompromising authority. To tame the violent recoil of the 10mm, the TRP brings an immense 40 ounces of ordnance-grade steel to the equation. But adapting John Moses Browning's legendary 1911 architecture to this high-pressure cartridge required critical engineering enhancements. Early 10mm 1911s utilized standard barrel designs that left the web of the brass casing unsupported over the feed ramp, leading to catastrophic case blowouts under peak pressure. Springfield entirely eliminated this vulnerability by machining a fully supported ramp match-grade barrel. The steel of the barrel extension wraps completely around the base of the cartridge, creating a pressure-proof chamber capable of digesting the hottest hard-cast hunting loads without brass failure. The slide velocity is meticulously controlled by a heavy flat-wire recoil spring riding on a full-length solid steel guide rod, keeping the locking lugs engaged until pressures drop safely. The 5-inch stainless steel barrel utilizes a 1 16-inch twist rate, perfectly stabilizing heavy projectiles. The trigger breaks with the crisp, glass-like precision that only a true single-action mechanism can provide, easily yielding guaranteed 1.5 minute of angle accuracy straight from the factory. The 1911 platform has proven its worth in the trenches of global conflicts, favored by elite force recon units who understand the value of a finely tuned machine. In a world of mass production, the TRP Operator stands as a testament to the enduring superiority of heavy steel and meticulous craftsmanship. It is the definitive heavy-caliber sidearm. The transition toward the 10mm is not a passing trend. It is a calculated ballistic evolution driven by the harsh realities of modern defensive encounters. But remember this above all else: no amount of forged steel or advanced polymer can replace the discipline of the operator. A mechanical masterpiece is merely a paperweight if you do not understand its internal mechanics, and if you do not train relentlessly under stress to master its recoil impulse. To the veterans, the armorers, and the serious mechanical purists in our audience, I want to hear your historical accounts and your field experiences. Go to the comments and detail the metallurgy you trust. the platforms that have survived the harshest environments, and the heavy caliber tools you rely on to protect your own. Keep your mechanics clean, keep your powder dry, and I will see you on the next briefing. Would you like me to analyze the specific lock times and sear geometries of single action versus striker-fired system in a future documentary?